The Nets play before the hometown crowd, and we've got it for you tonight, live from Brooklyn, New York. With Greg Anthony and Hall of Famer Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. And joining us on the sidelines, another Hall of Famer, David Aldridge. For the Brooklyn Nets, they come into tonight's game after losing to the Dallas Mavericks. The shot by Johnson, no good. Now the Timberwolves with it.
You know, when Rudy Gobert is down low, it strikes fear into the opponent. This is a guy who has led the league in blocks and rebounds at different times. Inside the paint, he is just a nightmare to battle against.
There's such a nice mix of strength and skill. Julius Randle on the attack.
A rebound by the Timberwolves. Now let's send it over to David Aldridge, who was able to talk with Jordi Fernandez.
And we talked about the bruising big man, Julius Randle. He told me Julius sets the tone for them with his physicality. So we have to try and match that. We can't let him bully his way into the lane and get to his spots. We have to make him uncomfortable. Kevin?
Thank you, David. Now Randle, after Keon Johnson's three-pointer that didn't go.
And listen, sometimes even the best of us are going to miss the easiest of opportunities.
Hooks one up. Gobert with the block.
Almost inescapable, that 7'9" wingspan. Send it back, big Rudy Gobert.
And in the first, a little over a minute and a half in. Johnson, that's for two.
Yeah, trying to get going here, but that's an offer for the first five here to start the game.
Pass to Gobert. The Timberwolves working the ball around now. And Edwards with the stuff.
Oh, guys, the agility, the hops, everything about Anthony Edwards, so good athletically.
And out of bounds as the Timberwolves gain possession. Now White, looking at his point production, he averages almost 11 points a game. Shoots over Johnson. And it's White missing. And it's Thomas with the ball. He brings it up for the Nets. Still without a basket in the game. To the middle. Here's Johnson. Knocks it loose. Williams double team. 4 on the shot clock. And they force the shot clock violation. Great D.
Timberwolves ball.
Timberwolves leading by 4. Greg, this is some kind of note. Last year, Minnesota, for just the second time, had ever won a series in the postseason.
Yeah, they've been bounced in the first round, 10 of 12 appearances. But last year's team was different. Their elite defense fueled the conference finals run.
Free throw good, Edwards. You hear, Doris, people now calling Anthony Edwards one of the faces of the NBA. And I'm assuming you'd agree.
100% agree, because the skills are extraordinary. The development in his decision-making has gone leaps and bounds from where it was. Beyond that, Kevin, he's a lockdown defender, one of the best competitors, fearless in the big moments, and one of the most charismatic young men in the league today. This guy is spectacular.
And so it's Johnson who brings the ball up for Brooklyn. They trail by 7. And they pick up 2.
First make of the day should finally give them a little confidence.
It's usually interesting. After a bit of a struggle, does the first bucket get you into a little rhythm now?
Finish with the ball. And it's Johnson picking him up. White, good.
And you have got to honor White on the perimeter. Once he gets comfortable from there, it's going to be bad news for the defense.
Johnson's shot is off.
I think he's got to settle down because right now it feels like he's rushing, like he's forcing some shots. This quarter he has been completely bothered.
Now here's Reddish. Still scoreless. For three, Edwards. No good. That puts him at 2 for 6.
Well, it hasn't been the most efficient game for this guy, but their team is fortunate to still be out in front.
On the wing, Williams. Kicks it out to Johnson. Hits it from three-point range.
The catch and shoot is exactly what you're looking for. Cam Johnson, one of the best shooters in the league.
White, good.
Well, there's an unpredictability to his offensive game. He is always keeping the defense off balance.
To the paint. Here's Johnson. That one falls coming off Johnson's feet. Johnson's got 5 points so far.
There is an imagination, a creativity. This guy's passing drives the offense.
Back to Edwards. And Edwards with the stuff.
Well, keep your head up. Look for an opportunity to facilitate Julius Randle the delivery.
Johnson outside. Fires the three. He can't get that one.
Great job on the glass. Body's down low, needing to fight for position. That's perfect.
Pass to Edwards. From downtown, a three-pointer is right on target. 10 points for him.
I'll tell you, this lead's not going anywhere with this guy making plays. What a quarter.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively here so far.
Randle with the bucket.
Defensively, they've been a step slow here to start.
Nets trailed by 10. The three from Johnson. That's good for his third bucket. Now 3 for 6 from the field.
Yeah, taking a scoring opportunity when it comes. The readiness of Cam Johnson, so good.
6-second difference between the shot and game clock. Here's White. Outside for Randle. Outside Edwards. That's in. Coming off an assist from Randle. Edwards got a couple of threes now in the first for the Timberwolves. Williams for 3. And that shot was up in time, but doesn't go in.
The score.
And so it's Minnesota going into the break with a
The Timberwolves, 22.
And welcome back to the second quarter of action. Plenty of basketball left to play, but this one has been one-sided so far. And a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for the Timberwolves.
Absolutely dialed in from beyond the arc so far in this one. The defense is surrendering the long-range shot here early on.
Yeah, and in addition, their ball movement has really unleashed their offense. Boy, they've been fun to watch.
Since moving back to Brooklyn in 2012, the Nets, Greg, have won just 2 playoff series.
And just think about the all-stars they've had. KG, Pierce, Durant, Kyrie, Harden. I could name more. The Nets just haven't been able to put it together.
Outside for Thomas. Launches it. It's hauled in by Brown. Timberwolves leading by 12. Pass to DiVincenzo. The screen from Brown. Inside. Claxton with the steal. And they're running. Here's Johnson. And the call on the shot sends him to the line.
You know what's interesting to me about Cam Johnson? He comes into the league with a reputation strictly as a sweet shooter. The fact is he's proven to be much more than that.
And the league giving a bit more leeway, GA, to defenders. As a hard-nosed defender yourself, I'm sure you like that change.
Oh, I do. I mean, we all love the intensity of playoff basketball. So why not bring a certain level of physicality to the regular season?
With a short break in the action, gives us a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge.
Kevin, Kobe White became one of the top candidates last season for Most Improved Player. He says, I always tried to just let the work show. I wanted to prove that I could be a starting guard in this league. I've just got to continue to get better every day, be aggressive, and be who I am. Kevin, back to you.
All right, D.A., love that attitude. Here's Johnson. They look to him for part of their offensive attack. Right now, he averages nearly 12 points a game. Over White. A terrific move by Johnson to score. Johnson's got his second basket of the night. Randall surveying the D. Rebounded by the Nets.
And this is a shot he can definitely make, and the defense not a factor at all.
Williams. And it's Williams with the jam.
Oh, that's a major league throwdown.
Keeps a tight grip on that rim, too, after the finish.
Every aspect of Anthony Edwards' game is on display. This guy has been cooking from the outset.
And you talk about complementary pieces, Doris. Cam Johnson could fit on any team in the NBA.
And that is because, Kevin, he has got one of the most valuable skills in the game today. That's range shooting. He's got size and a quick release, and he just continues to grow on the defensive end.
Here's White, following the three-pointer by Brooklyn. Here's Edwards, driving the lane. Can't convert the two-handed jam. Back to Thomas. Kicks it out to Johnson. Lots of room. Shot is good off the back rim and in. And now it's only a 5-point Minnesota lead. And Cameron Thomas picks up the foul. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Another foul would give him 3 before the half. Something to keep an eye on, guys.
There's the pick. Williams with the steal.
Miscue there. Hadn't had many of those so far, which is a big reason they're ahead.
And this is his second trip to the line in the game.
Gotta admire what he's been able to do at the free throw line this season. How about over 90%? And didn't have a single free throw in that first quarter, but he started to play with a little bit more of an edge to his game here in the second.
Oh, here's Edwards. He's got 17. Edwards, what a sweet jam by Edwards.
Oh, Anthony Edwards thinks this game is a dunk contest. Go ahead, young sir. What a finish.
Johnson surveying the floor. Here's the three. Hands it from downtown. Johnson's got 5 points now this quarter.
I'll tell you, he's having his way right now in the second period. Forget the first quarter. Let's get to work. He has that confidence rolling, hitting 2 threes in the first, but he hasn't had one since.
Second quarter.
Johnson outside. All alone. Another one falls for Brooklyn.
I'll tell you, the consistency of a good first quarter leads to an excellent second quarter. Riding the wave here.
Out to Edwards. Williams with the block. And that's out of bounds. Minnesota will retain possession.
Substitutions on the court.
White wide open. He fires. Another miss by Minnesota.
He is too good a shooter, guys, to be left open like that. The defense just dodged a bullet there.
Back to Johnson. Puts up a three. Julius Randle with the rebound. And Randle has got the ball here for Minnesota. And they're off to Philadelphia after this game as they'll take on the 76ers. And that game will be game 3 of 5 away from home. And so they choose to intentionally foul.
Really no idea why you're fouling in a situation like that. You know, maybe there's some bad blood between those two.
Portis for three. And again, no good by Brooklyn. Jacks up a three. Here's Brown. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
And they keep hammering away at him inside, forcing the ball into the paint.
Here's Melton. Off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt.
And there it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great inside position.
Now here's DiVincenzo. Hasn't made one yet.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Pass to Alexander Walker. That's in, coming off an assist from Dunn. And the Timberwolves lead by 5.
Yeah, a lot of coaches might let you hear it for taking the three-pointer on the break, but I like the decision there. The D had already collapsed inside.
The Nets have been solid at the line so far, 4 for 4.
And typically a strength of theirs, 79% on the season. Well, he's come through for them at the line today, and you love having a big fella who's so capable on his free throw.
That will count. Sends it home! What a shot!
You want drama? We've got drama. That's the way to end the quarter.
That is a way to fire him up, fire up the team. What a tremendous play.
And if you're just joining us, we've played through the first half in a game that's been fairly even so far. White looking around. A rebound by the Nets. Williams with a clean look. And no good. Had a chance to take the lead there. Minnesota in the lead. Here's Edwards. Thomas grabs the rebound. DB thinking about Cam Thomas. When he gets on a roll, he is tough to stop.
Kevin, he reminds me a little bit of the microwave Vinnie Johnson back in the days of Detroit. When this guy is hot, get out of his way and let him do his thing.
Williams for three. Buries the long-range jumper. Williams has got the lead up to 1 now for the Nets. Let's check in with our reporter, David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin, the Brooklyn Nets wasted no time hiring their next coach, Jordi Fernandez, shortly after the conclusion of last season. Despite his youth, Fernandez has been on the rise after stops as an assistant with the Kings, Nuggets, and Cavs, as well as coaching the Canadian national team. Kevin?
You know, DA, we've been talking about Jordi Fernandez for a long time. Now his big break, and I'm very happy. I know we all are for Coach Fernandez. Hey, David, thank you. Thomas, it's a wide open look. No good that time.
All alone from mid-range. They know he won't miss many of those.
Good on the bucket.
Boy, that was a much-needed bucket in the second half. They're now 1 for 5.
Now on the way to the floor. Give it up for Team Hype. What's it for Team Hype?
Brooklyn trailing. Johnson outside. On the wing, Williams. He's got 7. Thomas outside. Bangs home the trifecta. Thomas got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Pass to Alexander Walker. They set the pick. And he could not get that one to go. Out of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. It's on Nick Claxton.
Yeah, way to play in attack mode and get to the line.
And when you look at Alexander Walker, Doris, so consistent from year to year.
This is a young man who knows his role, finds ways ways to help the team within the context of what the Stars are doing. And those are exactly the kind of role players you need in order to have a quality basketball team.
Good on the three-point shot. Johnson's got 22 points.
That's a dozen straight points coming off the trip.
Reed gets the bucket.
Unselfishness can be infectious. Terrific teamwork.
Johnson outside. Kicks it out to Johnson. For the three. It's hauled in by Brown. And here's Dunn. He'll bring it up for the Timberwolves. Botches the breakaway layup. Williams for three. Offensive rebound. Claxton. And Claxton throws it down.
Well, Claxton could have an apartment up near the rim. These dunk attempts are routine.
Big hops from the backcourt.
Oh, absolutely. And maybe just what they need to get this game, GA, going in their direction.
Boy, as tight as this one is, that's a statement play saying, hey, listen, we're not here to back down from you guys.
Here's Williams. And he banks in the layup. 9 points for Williams.
No doubt about the consistency when it comes to scoring the basketball for him tonight. A real nice lift for their offense. And when he breaks out the crossover, you can be sure he's going to leave somebody in his way.
Last 2 minutes to play.
Pass to Johnson. There's 1:54 left in the third quarter. No bucket, and that miss is number 6. He's made 7. Lets it go with a three. Brooklyn with the rebound.
And even without that three ball dropping for him, the defense should have done more on that last play. Ooh, he put a little extra on that one.
He does. He doesn't usually finish soft either. Obviously, he can when necessary, but not that time. And the foul is called. He intentionally grabbed him there for some reason. I don't know.
Kevin, all I can think of is that he's trying to slow the game down a little bit.
Right.
That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part.
There's 1:26 left here in the third quarter. The Nets working the ball around now. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Clowney. Nice jump shot. Good. Clowney's got the lead up to 6 now for the Nets.
Well, 9 times out of 10, that probably is a miss, but somehow he finds a way.
And so far, going for more of an inside presence here in the second half, getting away from the three-point shot.
And it's Brooklyn scoring again.
The assist totals, Kevin, just continue to grow. They're way ahead in that category. Ball movement has been flawless. And talk about putting some extra on it. That dunk was way over the top.
Close game or not, he's going to finish firm when he gets the space. Timberwolves trail by 4. Here's Edwards. Oh!
My goodness. Anthony Edwards has got his rhythm, and he's got a well-rounded offensive game. Look out.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. It's Portis, high post. To the left wing. Here's Clowney. 5 points in the game. Rudy Gobert with the rebound.
Those are chances almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the need just enough to keep him out of rhythm. And now this game's taken on a whole new feel since halftime.
What energy we're seeing. Something has lit a fire under both of these teams.
56. The Timberwolves. 56. All right, fans.
And with 3 quarters behind us, we start the fourth quarter in what is still anybody's ballgame. And so Chris Finch calls for the timeout. And he wants to see some changes out there right away and right now. send it over to the sidelines and get a report from David Aldridge.
Hey guys, I listened in on what Chris Finch was talking about with his players. Now Coach told his guys it's not over until it's over. He asked them to stay sharp out there and to keep fighting. If we lose this, it's on us, he said. Back to you guys.
Thanks, David. Thomas gets the bucket.
Their ability, again, to stretch the floor, particularly in this second half.
And guys, boy, when you're hitting, it sure does work. It obviously opens up major options at the offensive end.
He had 6 points from long range in the first half, but nothing's fallen here since.
To the inside. Claxton. And Claxton throws it down.
And you can feel the excitement in the building. Both of these teams pouring it on.
There's been a bit of a flurry here late, and this game may come down to which side gets a stop or two.
Randall grabs the board.
It seemed like he changed his mind halfway through the layup, trying to go to something else, and flat out choked it.
His first personal.
Boy, that's the last thing they needed. This game too close to be making those kinds of errors.
Brooklyn leading by 3. Johnson outside. Pass to Claxton. Outside for Thomas. Fires for 3. Buries it from three-point range. Thomas got a pair of threes here in the fourth quarter for the Nets. Driving to the basket.
Assisted by.
And just running the offense. White's that new breed of combo guard who can do a little bit of everything.
Johnson outside. Back to Thomas. Down low. It's stolen by Reddish. 3-on-3. And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
No question, he got bumped on that shot.
And a moment now to look at the scoring advantage in terms of where the points are coming from for the Nets.
And guys, how about the unselfishness and all about working that ball around, shifting the defense, and just seeking out the best shot.
Boy, the long ball has been another point of emphasis for this group tonight. Their shooters are finding open spaces and firing without hesitation.
Johnson, a wide open look. Gobert pulls it in. Here's Reddish. And out of bounds as Brooklyn gains possession. Just under 2.5 minutes gone here in the final quarter. Pass to Claxton. Back to Johnson. Thomas with the ball. Now defended by Randall. Johnson, wide open, he fires. That's in there. Thomas with the assist.
Yeah, coming down the stretch, they've become reliant upon their perimeter game.
Boy, the three-point arc has been a major factor in what they've done here tonight. You love the aggressiveness.
Wants to get it to Randall and does. And we've got a timeout called from Chris Finch. He's not taking any chances and wants to huddle him up right away. And just about 3 minutes through the fourth quarter here. Here's Reddish. And there's the drive.
Well, the length of Claxton allowing him to reach out and affect the shot. That is really good defensive work.
And there is the whistle. That goes on Kobe White. That's his first foul. Johnson outside. Clock at 6. Shoots over White.
Well, this has not been his finest hour, but give your teammates some credit for doing the job of stepping in.
And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here.
His third personal foul. Team foul.
And he makes the first.
Going to the Timberwolves. Shooting 2.
misses.
Yeah, I like that they haven't lost their aggressiveness here in the second, despite being down.
Back to Williams. Johnson outside. Nets passing it around. Johnson to screen. And it's Johnson with the jam.
I'll bet even they didn't think the pick would work that well.
No. And they get the major league dunk out of it, too.
And my question is, where was the help? Someone rotate over and challenge.
Pass to Johnson. Williams with the ball. He's picked up by White. Johnson outside. A rebound by the Timberwolves.
And a nice job of utilizing his body to get around the defender, but that's just a tough one to knock down consistently.
Pass to Williams. Kicks it out to Johnson. Off target with his three. Timberwolves trail by 5. And here's Edwards from the arc. Edwards with confidence.
Such a clutch shooter. This guy lives for these kinds of moments and delivers.
Johnson outside. Now Claxton picks it out to Johnson. A three. Again, Johnson missing. Now here's Reddish. Edwards looking it over. Driving inside. And now here's Johnson, a fast break chance. And there is the whistle. Goes on Kobe White. That's foul number 2 for him. To the paint. Here's Johnson. And stolen by White.
And how about the read on that play right there? Great sense of exactly when that ball was coming from the outside.
So it's Johnson who brings the ball up for Brooklyn. The lead is 2.
And you can't get a bigger bucket than that.
I'll tell you, it takes confidence to pull the trigger in that situation. You love guys who relish the moment.
And that's almost automatic anytime he can get the ball in that position.
And he commits the intentional foul.
And you know what? Smart foul. You got to try to extend the game.
Team foul.
First free throw is good, and that makes it a 3-point lead. Second one is good. Bring both at the line, and it's a 4-point ball game.
Those free throws are the nail in the coffin, guys.
And so it's Brooklyn who's straight